Good morning, students. Welcome to your computer class. Students, today we are going to learn about the references and formulas, including the AutoSum feature. So, before we do that, let's do a quick recap of what we have learned. So, in our yesterday's class, we learned about AutoSum feature, we learned about functions, we learned about rules to enter a function, and we learned about usage of sum and average function. So let's move further, and today we are going to learn about max function. Now let's do a quick recap of about the function. Students, I told you that whenever we are writing a function, there are few rules. So I discussed about that all function must start with an equal to sign. Then we discussed about function name must be a valid name. For example, sum, average, the spelling especially which you need to focus on. The third one we learned about was the function name, which is followed by opening and closing of parentheses. And at last we learned about parenthesis containing the argument the within itself. So for max also we do the same thing. Now what does this max function do? Max function returns the largest value from the numbers in the range of cell. For example, if I have typed a series of number and if I am asked to find out who is the highest, instead of individually looking and finding it, I can just use this max function and Excel itself will find out which is the maximum or the greatest number in that particular row or column, and it will give me the result. Next comes is the minimum function or the min function. So min function is the opposite of max function. It returns the smallest value from the number in the range of cells. So max function maximum, min function gives us the minimum number. So again the same example, the series of number, whichever is the minimum will get highlighted here. Next comes the count function. So what does count function do? Now in count function counts the number of cells that contains the number and also counts the numbers within the list of the argument. For example, whatever range I have given, right? So if I ask Excel to count only 3 cells, it will give me the answer 3 after I enter the count function. But if I just put in a list and if I want to count Excel to use the count function, then it will count and give me the total of that. Now next topic is our error results. So Excel sometimes will throw up some kind of error messages. So we need to understand what this error means and what this error understands. For example, if you get the hash error, this error tells us that the column is not having enough space, and that is the reason Excel is not able to display the text in it or the number in it. So we just have to go ahead and give some room to the cell or the column, and the text will be displayed. Second comes is the value error. This error occurs if the formula, whatever formula we are entering, if it has got an invalid data, then it will show us this error. The third one is the name error. This error occurs if the formula is used incorrectly, and the div error is the error if we divide the number, if the number is divided by 0. So let's try to understand this by watching this small video.
In this video, we'll take a look at the error codes that Excel generates when there's something wrong with a formula. There are 8 error codes that you're likely to run into at some point as you work with Excel's formulas. First, we have the divide by 0 error. You'll see this error when a formula tries to divide a number by 0, as in this first example. Note that you'll also see this same error when a formula tries to divide a number by a cell that's empty. You may also see a divide by 0 error with the average if or average ifs functions, when the criteria does not match any cells in the range. You'll see a name error when Excel does not recognize a name or formula. In the first example, the average function is misspelled, so it's not recognized. In the second example, we're trying to get the average for a range named prime, but that named range does not exist in this worksheet. The NA error means that data is not available. You might see this error when you're working with a range that contains the NA error, as in this first example. If B7 is blank or contains a normal value, the error disappears. NA is also a common error when you're using VLOOKUP or match. It means that the lookup value is not found in the table or array. In this case, sushi is not in the table. If we change the value in B12 to pizza, all is well. You might see the num error if a value is too large, as in this first example. If we make the exponent a smaller value, Excel is able to display the result, and the error disappears. In the second example, the first formula is fine and returns 28 months between the dates using the dated-if function. But the second formula has the start date and end dates reversed and throws a num error. You'll see a value error when the argument is not the expected type. In the first example, Apple is not a valid date, so the net workdays function can't compute working days and returns value. The month function can't extract a month value from Apple for the same reason. You also might see a value error if you create an array formula and forget to enter the formula. Finally, you'll often see a string of hash characters when a value does not fit into a cell. Cell B6 contains a simple date, but the date is formatted with a long format, so it is not displayed. To fix this error, just make the column wider.
So I hope students it gave you a brief idea as to how this error result can help us identifying the error. This also brings us to the end of the chapter, and let's make a note of our homework. Our homework is to do question number 4 and fun time. So students, there was some confusion related to the question and answers. The answer the following. I would like to clarify that whichever question you are left with, whichever question you have not attempted or you couldn't or you have not done it, please go ahead and finish all the question answers, because I have divided it into homework, but there was some confusion in one of the homeworks. So please go ahead and complete all the question answers, because tomorrow we are going to discuss the answers for the exercises we have completed. And just in case if you have any doubts or any questions related to today's class, feel free to reach me through the comment section. So thank you for your time, students, and have a good day ahead.